Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and Goosebumps is coming to the rescue today. Well, it isn't exactly coming to the rescue, I just decided it would be better to do Goosebumps today, and then film the video for tomorrow that I planned to release today. I just thought it'd be better that way in terms of the schedule. So I'm here today to review Calling All Creeps. Now, this book, it is, in my opinion, one of the books that's more faithfully adapted than others. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, because this story is pretty light, it's pretty goofy, and it doesn't really offer a lot to... the title is really cool, Calling All Creeps. It's a very cool title. It sounds like, there's going to be a lot of monsters that end up being in the story. It sounds like, I don't know, like there's some vulnerable people. They're going to be hunted down by these monsters. It has a great title, and the cover, I think, is one of the greatest, might be one of the top 5 Goosebumps covers of all time, with all those creeps in the phone booth. It has such like an 80s, almost like Return of the Living Dead type of vibe, and it looks really cool. I mean, the colors and the neons, and so already you have a great title and a great cover. And how do you beat that in terms of this story? I mean, how does R.L. Stine and his story, how does it match up to the cover and the title? Well, it pretty much falls flat on its face. I guess a lot of these books, I was just kind of entertained by them. I wasn't really that impressed. I thought it could have been much better, and it was another story in a whole list of stories that feels restricted. It feels, or how do you say it? Like it's constrained creatively by the kids label on it. And even though there are multiple books in the series that feel like they cross the boundaries, there's also a lot of books in the series that feel like they won't go anywhere near the boundaries because, they're too scared that, like, oh no, is this too much for kids? Is this too much for kids? The story itself, you have this main character, he's a nerd, and he's an old school type of nerd. He's an OG nerd. This is back when kids got made fun of for liking comic books, when they got made fun of for liking, like, quote-unquote nerd type of stuff. And of course nowadays, that the jocks, they basically, what's funny is that this story is kind of, or it's kind of relevant today, because in the opposite way, in the sense that the jocks and the bullies, they ended up becoming nerds themselves, because it's trendy and cool now. And at the end of this book, it's sort of the opposite, where the nerd becomes the bad guy and he becomes a monster. And but there's a lot of questions. This book takes a long time to get going. There's quite a bit of time where it's just him getting pushed around, him getting bullied. But the key thing is that he's not that likable. Ricky is not likable in this book. His friend Iris isn't very likable. The bully, Tasha, she's not likable, obviously. The other bullies, they're not likable. So this is one of those books in the series where it has a problem with bad characters, I would say. All the characters needed to be boosted and improved, have a lot more interesting things going on, instead of just cardboard cutout characteristics that you could slap onto any name. I mean, when I think of these characters, I really don't associate them with this book. I associate them with the episode. And I would say that the episode was better than the book, although they were pretty similar. And the story with these creeps, they're kind of these alien monsters, and they have a commander, and they think that Ricky is their commander. So you have a lot of questions here. Number one, how did the creeps get to this middle school to begin with? Number two, why are the creeps disguised as middle schoolers? And number three, where is their real commander? Number four, what is their mission on Earth? And then number five, where did they even come from? So you have all these questions that they need answering, and instead, they just kind of continue with the surface level nonsense where Ricky is pretending like he's their commander because he accidentally attracted these creeps to begin with. And then what ends up happening is that they want him to turn all the other kids in the school into creeps. So I guess that's what their mission was to begin with. It doesn't really make sense, though, because what happens after that is a mystery to me. At least in Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, they basically left Earth at the end, and their mission was done. So that made a lot more sense. I will say, though, the ending is really good. I love the ending. The transformation as a character that Ricky makes at the end is very good, and that is the best part of the book. But there is a huge plot hole in here that it made the book go from a B- to a C- / D+. And that is the macaroni and cheese plot. And if you guys don't know, if you haven't read the book, in the show, they want to put the seeds in just any food there that the kids will eat at lunch. And so that's already a flaw, because how do they know that every kid will eat the same food? They won't. That's the key. They won't. So that's already a problem. Not every kid is going to eat the same lunch. What about the kids who bring lunch from home? That's a huge plot hole. Well, number two, in the TV show episode, Ricky has the great idea to put it in the shitty dish that no one likes, and he does it, of course, so that no one will turn into creeps, and it's the tuna surprise. And that was actually a great idea, because he's putting it in something he knows nobody's going to eat, so nobody's going to become a creep. That's actually a great idea. A great idea that the TV show people had. Well, in the shitty book, they put it in the macaroni and cheese, because Ricky says nobody's going to eat the macaroni and cheese. And I thought, wow, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Nobody in a school is going to eat macaroni and cheese? Are you insane? Macaroni and cheese is like one of the most popular kids' foods on the planet. Like, you have chicken nuggets, cheeseburgers, pizza, corn dogs, and mac and cheese. And you're telling me nobody at this school is going to have some mac and cheese? That's some bullshit. And so they actually had it to where he put it in the mac and cheese, and then nobody at the school ate mac and cheese. I mean, these kids at this middle school, they gotta be the weirdest. I mean, they were already aliens. They didn't need these identity seeds these kids were already weirdos if they're not going to eat the macaroni and cheese. But apparently they did not. No kid at this school ate the mac and cheese. Not even the creeps themselves. Like, nobody likes mac and cheese at this school. That is just, it is mind-bogglingly stupid. That is so stupid, it just makes me want to throw up. I mean, R.L. Stine, he already has some sort of a food issue, and I feel so weird yelling like this, because I'm in a Kroger parking lot right now, and someone's going to come by and be like, why is that kid ranting about R.L. Stine and his food weirdness? Well, in almost every Goosebumps book, R.L. Stine always has everyone eating spaghetti. And that's fine with me. Spaghetti is my favorite food, so I'll eat it all the time. I could eat it every day, all day. That's fine with me. But this same guy, you're telling me R.L. Stine is such a weirdo that he doesn't know that kids like mac and cheese? He didn't give any reason, too. He didn't say the kids think the mac and cheese is cold and grainy, or it's stringy, and there is no legitimate reason that the kids at this school are not eating that mac and cheese. I mean, this mac and cheese is universal. Even vegans like macaroni and cheese. Even serial killers, like just anyone in the universe likes macaroni and cheese. Even people who don't like macaroni and cheese, they'll like it a lot more than the tuna surprise that they talk about in the episode. So what's up with that shit with these kids? Nobody at a school, that is hundreds of kids who have to have mental examinations because they wouldn't eat the macaroni and cheese. So that was really stupid in my opinion. That was probably, it might be the stupidest thing I've ever read in a Goosebumps book, and that's saying something. Nobody at a school will eat macaroni and cheese. Yeah, fuck off with that shit, R.L. Stine. That is, that's like something a creep would write. It's like this book was written by a creep. So I give this crappy book a C-. C- for crappy, C- for creep, C- for cheese. Okay, because let's just all eat some macaroni and cheese. I mean, everyone loves macaroni and cheese. I don't know a single person on this universe who doesn't like macaroni and cheese. And as you see, too, there's nothing really much else to talk about in this book besides the macaroni and cheese. I guess the thing at the end, I really do, as I said before, I love how you have this nerd, and he transforms into, you know what? All these kids are a bunch of jackasses. None of them are listening to me when I'm saying don't eat these creep cookies. And so, you know what? Go ahead and eat them, because I'm excited for the change that's going to happen around here. I thought that was like an applause-worthy ending. And it's portrayed in the episode, unfortunately, like it's a dark and sad thing. But I saw it as like probably one of the happiest endings of the whole series so far. I would say after this book, my one big question is, where does it go from here? Where does it... We never even get to hear what happens to Ricky and his army of creeps. And I think that is very sad. I just read something. Sorry, I got to end this pretty soon. I just read something really stupid. So yeah, that's what I think of Calling All Creeps. I think that it's okay. I might read it again if I was like desperate, but I gotta be honest, like just reading an adult person write in a book that you have a school full of hundreds of children from each and every grade and level in this school. None of the hundreds of kids ate macaroni and cheese is just it's absurd. It is just absolutely absurd. It's so absurd to the point of where I would suggest like editing every copy of the book to replace it with the tuna surprise, which is a much more believable option, even though I do love tuna as well. So please like, comment, tell me what you thought of Calling All Creeps, and then subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to see more Goosebumps book reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.